Hey there everyone, this is Tom from MonTac, and today we have the grand final for the inaugural MonTac tournament. We had a bunch of players entering in from Canada, US, Australia, but only these two players are left. Rich Potato from Australia taking on TailSweet from America, both undefeated, 2-0. Now what we can have a look here is TailSweet runs the Pure Angel deck, meanwhile Rich Potato likes to run the Sunwalkers. This is going to be a very interesting match between two high-level players. And we're going to see who is going to come out top and win the $100. So they're just getting their hands together. They've already rolled. They've already flipped to see who goes first. This is going to be very interesting. So you can see on the left there, you've got your games 1. This is a best out of 3 matchup, which means they need to win 3 matches, or 2 matches at least, to win the whole thing. So the timer is now started. Rich Potato is taking the start. He's going to start off with a Pyro Squire, a Class 1 200. So the important thing here is they're just going to be starting to feel each other out, and we'll just see what they've got. Now, both players reveal their hands to me as the game goes on. It seems like TailSweet definitely bricked at the start of this game. He had a bunch of Class 6s here. But it's just interesting to see how he's going to turn out with this. He's now going to drop to 3 health from that. Massive part of this game is consistency. You cannot have a deck that has too many high cards or you will be left behind. TailSweet rolls a 1 again. Yep, I know how to play anything. This looks like it's going to be a very quick win for Potato. Once again, it is best out of 3. So even if Potato gets this 1 win, it is very possible for TailSweet to win it back. He's just having a look at his options now, but if you have a look, if you're aware of the game, you'll know what cards he has. You can see he's running out of options. The definite play here would be to get rid of that Angel Feather, the far right card, and that allowed him to add another card at the end of his turn. So it's really about, but no, he's just going to pass it. So it just goes to Potato. Potato's going to go for another 2 health, pushing TailSweet to 1 health here. Definitely a very bad situation for TailSweet. He needs to roll a 6 here, or he will lose this first game, and he's rolled a 5. Not quite what he needed, and this will result in him losing this game, I believe. Yeah, there you go. There's that one for Rich Potato there on the left. You can see how many games he's won just from that little one showing up. But yeah, so that's game 1. Can't break in the grand final, guys. You got to make sure you are at your very best here. The winners of this match will get $100. The second place will be able to do a promo card, so will the first, and they'll both get an Instagram shout out, which I believe has already been up there. So if you want to check out the Instagram page at MonTac Cards, you'll see all of the top 3 for this inaugural tournament. Alright, they're going to start the next match right away. That's how we do it. These are all timed matches. At the end of the 30 minutes, whoever has the most health points will win. If it's a tie at that point, then we will continue on until someone loses a health point, because this is the grand final. Okay, so because TailSweet lost that last match, he gets to pick who goes first, and he's chosen Rich Potato. So here we go, 30 minutes starting now. Rich Potato's rolled a 2. Not the best, but any good player will be able to make the most out of it. Slapping down Lucky 135, a very integral card for the current meta. Current meta, we've seen a lot of Sunwalkers and Angels, mainly the combination of the 2. But it's just going to be a battle of who's going to be the best deck here. Both players started learning at the same time, so it's really about who's got the most skill that they've brought in with them, and who can best maneuver the deck they've got. Here he goes, he's bringing out 2 synergies. He's got Magma Champion slapped down and Beowulf. He can do this because he slapped 2 cards with Zachariah's specialty into his asset pile to cheat out these 2 behemoths. He's going to definitely start to put the pressure on TailSweet. He wants this game over now. Rolling a 3. So look up to TailSweet's hand here. We can see Gentleman Angel is in his hand. He's slapping down 2 to defend himself, it looks like. Definitely an interesting strategy. He's really going to need to make the most of that Divine Sword in his hand. Definitely a problem card he's going to be running into. Still about 28 minutes, so it's really anyone's game at this point. Alright, he's passed it back. He's gone to Potato. Now, Potato will lose that Beowulf. It's up to him if he wants to activate Beowulf's specialty, which will send 2 cards from his asset pile to the Perish pile to bring itself back to his asset pile. Looks like he's going to activate it. He's sending an Impervious and he's sending a Sword. Very interesting choice there. He's rolled a 2. Now that Magma Champion only has 1 turn left, so he's going to make the most of it. He slaps down a Pyro Squire just to add that little bit of extra pressure. It looks like he might be trying to go for a health point this turn. 28 minutes left. Magma Champion's going to take out the first Gentleman Angel, it looks like. Yeah. Let's see. It looks like he wouldn't have anything in his hand. He's only got a Mono Mace currently. But that can definitely change in the coming hands. 1700 taking on that 500 Gentleman Angel. Even if the Zachariah gets an extra 800, it won't be enough. Yeah, I think TailSweet's going to have to let this one go through. He's actually quite close to bricking in his hand. Lucky he has that lucky 1-3-5 in hand, because that will get him any monster he likes from his deck. Definitely a game saver here. He's got 2 swords, so I would say get out Beowulf and then activate the swords, putting them in his asset pile, and then use them for later as proper defense. It looks like the Pyro Squire is going to go for a health point here. Yep, slapping down TailSweet to 4. This game's definitely far from over. Okay, so he goes on with the lucky 1-3-5. Slapping down Kid Angel, it's an interesting choice. Kid Angel's going to get him another monster from his deck. I think why he picked Kid Angel was so he could get multiple monsters out. Just for that extra bit of shield. There comes Beowulf, here he is. Now it should be interesting to see if he can get those swords into his asset pile when he attacks. Okay. Now the best part is, with those swords in the asset pile, they can be used by any divine monster he commands, so even he could use it with his Kid Angel Zachariah, which is a very good and deadly combo, especially when someone thinks they're just going to beat over it very easily. Here he goes, Beowulf slapping over Zachariah, sending 2, and Potato responds with a sword, one-shotting Beowulf. Will TailSweet use his own sword? Okay. Okay. So he just activated the sword, which means both players get to play a monster from their decks, and TailSweet's going straight for health points with Elizabeth. This will give him 1 health point for every monster in his asset pile, for every card in his asset pile. So you should actually go up to 11 health points very quickly soon here. Yeah, so Potato looks like he's going for Draco Fist, because Draco Fist can lead to specialty removal, so he's definitely thought ahead to counter Elizabeth here. Yep, so he's just refilling his hand. Yep, so Rich Potato's going again for his roll. He's going for 3. Almost 24.5 minutes left now. The stakes could not be any higher. Here he goes, activating Draco Fist. He can remove the specialty of Elizabeth and bring out a Class 5 monster, Blaze Minotaur, from his deck. Here we go. Yeah, there he goes. He's going to remove Elizabeth's specialty, which means TailSweet will not be able to gain any more health points from it. Definitely the right decision in this area. He's got a lot of pressure here with the Pyrosquire on top of a lot of things. He's got a lot of options here, Potato. He's going to go with Blaze Minotaur against the Elizabeth without a specialty. Let's just see if TailSweet has anything he wants to use to retaliate. Yep, so Minotaur the Elizabeth. Okay, TailSweet goes for Mono Mace, adding 800 to Elizabeth, pumping Elizabeth up to 1500, which is 100 more than the Minotaur, sending Minotaur to the perish pile. There we go, so he's going to ram his Pyrosquire into the Zachariah, which will kill them both. Now, because Potato has taken on a Mono Mace, so because TailSweet used the Mono Mace, Potato has to reveal a card in his hand. Just for this one turn, so let's just see what card he's going to pick. I think you showed a revival there on that turn. Okay, so he's passed it back to TailSweet. No, sorry, Potato again. So yeah, so it looks like TailSweet rolled a 3 and then just passed the turn back to Potato. Potato has rolled a 6. Here is definitely the time to maximize on that advantage. You've got a Zachariah with the specialty intact. Can cheat out a lot of cards from your asset pile. He's only got one Elizabeth with 1500, so he's already starting off with a losing conflict there. There he goes, he's activating Zachariah's specialty. He's going to be bringing out possibly a synergy, or he may decide to just, yep, there he goes. He just straight up plays Gemini, and he's going to bring out his own Elizabeth, pumping up his health points from 5 to, it looks like he'll go up to 8. Now he gets that extra health points every turn, so he'll go to 11 on TailSweet's next turn. Yeah. So, looking at the cards here, you can definitely see that while the Pure Angel strategy is doing interestingly, so he's going to send Gemini right after him. Yeah, the Angels are running a lot of bricky cards here. A lot of them like to have their cards in the asset pile, so it's really going to be interesting to see how he's going to weather this. Oh, he's going Divine Sword. That's a Divine Sword he put with Beowulf, and now that's going to one-shot the Gemini. This is very, very interesting. Yeah. Far out. That really one-shot that Gemini. Now, both players will be able to play a monster from their decks now. You're going to have maximum of 3 in play at one time. But, yeah, so it looks like we're going to have to see what Rich Potato is going to bring out and what TailSweet's going to bring out as well. Another thing is, with the winner of this match, we'll be able to get the interview. Consequently, right after this, we'll have the interview added into the back of this grand final. So you actually get to hear a little bit from the winner and what they think of the current game state, you know, how they think they played, etc. So definitely looking forward to that. It's about 20 minutes now left. It's definitely very interesting indeed. Okay, so now he's going to start his attacks with Potato. There's definitely a lot of momentum with Potato at the moment, but TailSweet does have the health point advantage. Takes out that Elizabeth with the specialty, goes after the little small Zachariah, and I feel like he's going to have Beowulf clean up the last one with the specialty, possibly. Okay, so now it's really up to see what TailSweet's going to do. Looks like he's looking through his second deck, which means there possibly is going to be a synergy coming out. Here he goes, Beowulf. So now it's time to see if the tables are going to be shifted. They're going to be turned. This is his moment. He is up 1 health points, but on monsters he is not activating tag along, which will work because he has just played a monster. He can play another one from his hand, regardless of class. And it looks like he's going to go for that Beowulf. Yeah, there comes the Beowulf. It's definitely going to be adding a lot of pressure in here. Alright, so here we go. He's going to use Beowulf on that Zachariah. Now it's just really to see if Rich Potato has anything to block that. So he's going to activate Sunwalker's Revival. By discarding an Obsidian Hawk from his hand, he can halve the power of Azrael's Chosen Angel Beowulf, which will be enough to destroy it. He's going to shuffle the Hawk back into his deck due to the Revival as well. Okay, so it looks like TailSweet's Beowulf will die here. Will perish. He's going to activate Beowulf's specialty, sending 2 cards from his asset pile to the perish pile to add his Beowulf back to his asset pile. This game isn't over yet. So they're definitely in an interesting position here where Beowulf is going to be played again, it looks like, possibly. Now Elizabeth's still there at 1500 and they still have another Beowulf at 1500 as well with his specialty intact. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to use Beowulf to go after his Beowulf. So it's going to be 2500 to 1500 here at the moment. Let's just see how this is going to go. Richard just has to think about it, see about what the best players to make here. I don't think he's really got anything. Well, he can use Beowulf's specialty himself, and he can win the conflict if he puts 3 from his hand. I think he is. I think he is putting the cards... No? No, it looks like he's activating the specialty, but will let his Beowulf perish. But he still wants to have that card in his asset pile. I'd say it looks like he's building up for a Beowulf play. Going to get like 16 minutes here, and they refresh their hands. Rich Potato will be rolling again, and here he goes. He's rolled a 4. Let's see what he can do with it. So yeah, just hear a little ruling from the judge, just asking about whether Beowulf has been played on the same turn that he perished. Looks like TailSweet has just slapped on Beowulf and kept him there, just for an extra bit of protection. Definitely Potato, you can't take him lightly. Oh dear lord, here it comes. Impervious Gemini. One of the worst cards to go up against in the game. This card can select an enemy monster, and if its power is higher than itself, which Beowulf is at 3300, it can select that Beowulf, halve its power, and then when that Beowulf perishes, TailSweet will have to discard his entire hand. What a devastating card to bring out right here. This is going to be rough.
Do you play anything to block it?
There needs to be a way for TailSweet to block this. But yep, so Zachariah's going to go after the Elizabeth, cleaning it out. The worst part is that Beowulf is going to perish either way at the end of this turn. Gemini's going to swing at the Beowulf. Yeah, so Oh boy, as soon as that potato ends his turn, goes right to TailSweet, and TailSweet will discard his entire hand. Not only will he lose his Beowulf, he'll lose his entire hand. Now he can still activate Beowulf's specialty, and there the hand goes. Oh no, that was a Savage Dual Shield and a Lucky 135 and a Zachariah, all gone in 1 second. This is really bad. Just really have to see if TailSweet wants to keep that Beowulf in play. TailSweet won his semi-final match against Shadow when he was up against the wall and brought out the Apex Angel, which actually ended up winning him the game. There he goes, he's activating Beowulf's specialty, so definitely interesting there. There you go, TailSweet's rolled a 5 and slapped down Beowulf again. This is definitely anyone's game. Here we go, he's slapping down a Quetzal. Now, from what I can tell, you might be thinking, well, this isn't pure Angel then if he's got a Sky Soldier. But he actually runs the Quetzals as just an extra strong class 5. He doesn't actually employ... he barely uses any of their specialties, so it is still classified as a pure Angel deck. There we go, so he's going to have that Quetzal swing at Elizabeth. And Elizabeth's going to activate Outcast Axe, which will take down that Quetzal. So the Quetzal will go up by 300 because of the Southern Air Journal, pumping it up to 1800. Now Elizabeth goes to 2300 here, so what he really needs to do is activate that Mace, which will pump him up to 2600, which is enough to bring down Elizabeth. Definitely a good idea to stop Rich Potato from getting those health points. They are both at 15 here, so a tie is highly likely, but let's see if either player can end it before then. A tie before extra time, of course. Yeah, so yeah, we've got the Impervious here still being an issue. If that Impervious lives past this turn, it'll definitely activate again on that Beowulf, forcing him to discard twice, so it's definitely a card to get rid of. Oh no, he slapped down Security. This will save both his Gemini, his Elizabeth, and his Zachariah from perishing this turn due to conflict. This means that he can activate that Gemini again on his next turn. This is really not good. Now he will go... Looks like he's... does he have a card? I think he is going to lose his health, but then he activates Elizabeth, getting himself the health back. Oh, this is definitely a difficult situation to be in. Is definitely very tricky. Alright, so they're both going to refill their hands. Now, yes, so Potato does have to reveal a card. I believe he did just then. Oh, man. As soon as Potato gets his turn, he's going to activate that on Beowulf, making TailSweet discard his entire hand again. That's 10 cards out of a 30-card deck. That's a third of your deck gone instantly. So this is definitely not a good idea. This is definitely not going well for TailSweet currently. Still got about 10 minutes left. Oh, and he's just drawn his second Zachariah, another great card to have. But unfortunately, Rich Potato is going to activate his specialty on Beowulf, which will kill Beowulf. Oh no, it's going to get rid of Beowulf. As soon as Beowulf perishes, that's the entire hand gone again. They definitely need a way to avoid this. Definitely circumventing that Gemini is going to be a major part of the new meta coming in. Rich Potato being absolutely dominant in this display here. The key to avoiding that Gemini is playing a monster who has lower current power than the Gemini, and then usually just blocking it out and getting rid of it, and making sure your big power monsters get through. Yep, so that's his hand entirely gone again, leaving him with 2 cards in hand and 2600 Quetzal, which can be... And Potato doesn't even have his Beowulf out yet, so he's left with 2 cards in hand, and I don't think he has anything in his asset pile synergy-wise. It's still possible for TailSweet to win this should Rich Potato brick here, but he's definitely got all the cards that could avoid this. Oh, he's got a 2600 Quetzal, which is a good start. Here he comes. He's got the Apex. It worked in his semi-final game. We'll see if it's going to work here. It's going to have 30 attacks, and it can get through that Gemini. He just needs this to get through. If it doesn't, this could be game right here. 5600, 30 attacks, and the turn cannot end due to a tactical effect. Against any dragon type, he will automatically win the match. This worked against Shadow in the semi-finals and saved him right about 1 minute before the game was going to be over. He activated the Apex and won in the game. It's just about whether this is going to work here now. Yeah, so just to put those cards in his hand back into the deck. I believe he drew them mistakenly. But he's still got this 30 attack monster Apex of the Angels coming again. This is going to be nuts if this makes it. If he wins this game through here, this is where Shadow went down. Can Rich Potato block it? Yep, so the Gemini is gone. He's going to go after Zachariah now. Will Zachariah go down? Yep, Zachariah's gone. Rich Potato still has cards in his asset pile to stop this onslaught. There goes Elizabeth. He's gone. 7 minutes left. If he can stop it, he needs to stop it now, because he is in serious trouble. Here he goes. He activates Titus, which is both. They'll both be at 5600, which will be enough to block the assault and kill both the Apex and Titus. He needs 7 fighters to activate its to play the card, and he's been able to block it here and now. The onslaught has been stopped. But here's the thing. He's still left wide open. That Quetzal still has an attack that hasn't happened yet. As soon as he attacks with that Angel, it'll be Quetzal versus the last monster that Rich Potato has. Okay, so they're both going to perish here. Now Rich Potato gets to play a monster from his perish pile due to Titus. That's a class 3 or below fighter. He goes for Elizabeth, and now that Quetzal's going to run right over that Elizabeth. Potato is now backed against the wall and needs a card that's going to win him the game now. 6 minutes left. Lucky 1 through 5. He's going off to a good start. So now it's just about how are we going to have this. How is he going to out this Quetzal? He can bring out Beowulf, but if Beowulf doesn't work here, he could run out of cards to play, and it'll just lead to TailSweet winning. So he's going to be very careful about how he plays this. There he goes for a set. He's going to play his Gladiator Angel Beowulf, but he could be bringing out his synergy at any moment. Here it is. Here is the synergy. If he's going to win, this is it. So he's rolled a 3. Now that Kid Angel brought out that Beowulf from his asset pile, so he's still quite fine in playing that. Getting close to 5 minutes. So there we go, we've got Beowulf swinging at the Quetzal. He's going to be sending a bunch of cards from his hand to the asset pile, sorry, to the perish pile. Sending 4, I believe, which will pump him up to... No, is he going to sending 3 or 4? Looks like 3 for now, which makes him 3,000, which is 400 more than the Quetzal, bringing down the Quetzal, leaving TailSweet without any monsters in play, and there he goes for the health points. Now this Beowulf, I think it's got 2 attacks. Yeah. It seems like it didn't use them though. Okay. So now they're both refilling their hands. Now TailSweet has to roll high here. He rolls a 6. He can bring out his Quetzal, which will pump it up to about 1,800, which is enough to bring down that Kid Angel. but unfortunately it doesn't look like it'll be enough to bring down the Gladiator Angel.
He also gets another 600 from Airmaiden. That's 2400.
Yeah, this is definitely looking to be the game for Potato. Yeah, I don't think there's anything he can do. Here he goes, he swings for it. And we'll just see Potato play, I imagine, the Mono Maces and possibly using Bale Specialty to cap this off right here.
2500, 2400. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I don't think you can play anything. Alright then, guys, that was it. That was the grand final, and the winner is Rich Potato. He wins $100, the ability to make a promo card, and an Instagram shout out. We're going to have the interview with him right now. Hey there, everyone. It's Tom from MonTac, and I'm here today with the tournament winner, Rich Potato. He is 3-0, and he won the competition with the Sunwalker Angel deck, and he's an Australian just like me. So we'll just get off with this interview and get it started. So, Potato, how did you feel about your match with TailSweet and how it went?
Yeah, it was a pretty solid game. Unfortunate he bricked so hard first game, but second game was definitely solid. Made me really work for that win.
Yeah, it was definitely very interesting when he brought out Zachariah, and it did actually work against Shadow in their semi-final win, but you seem to be quite prepared for that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, looking back on the tournament, where do you feel like you need to improve?
Honest, I don't think I played as well as I could have in some of those matches, especially that Game 2 match. Although I did win, I wasn't as impressed as like how difficult it was to beat Robo.
And so, like, you know, especially with like deck building, is there any like certain ways that you've felt there could have been a better way to do it? Certain changes that you regret?
No, I was happy with how I did it. I identified the best deck, being Angels. I identified the counter to that deck, Sunwalkers, and I made a combination of both. So, seemed to work.
Yeah, it was really good. It was actually the most common deck played in that actual tournament. Second was Angels, obviously, so just pure Angels, which was funny. I thought the Sunwalker Angel deck would be the least played from my experience using it, but they actually were able to gel quite well.
Yeah.
So,
just because of the high prevalence of the Apex. Yeah.
Definitely with that Zachariah, especially with Beowulf coming into the mix. So now we're getting on to the cards. Where do you think the meta is heading with the inclusion of the new set Heavy Duty Conquest?
With the new set, from what I've seen, I'm not looking at too much of a meta shift. It just appears that most of it looks like staples.
Sure.
I haven't gotten too much of a look though, and I'd be happy to be proven wrong and see new archetypes have a time to shine. It does appear that like some variation of Angels will still reign supreme.
Oh, okay. Very, very interesting. I definitely think that Zachariah will be a mainstay until possibly specialty removal becomes highly prevalent. I think he may suffer there. Or there's another card that can bring out cards that's a little bit lower class. Something like that is probably the only way he's going to see less play. Or maybe even when Elders come out. That's another... Actually, no, I think Elders can be cheated out as well with Zachariah, so there you go. He's definitely going to be an all-rounder. But, you know, what
definitely a card to look out for, though. Every format, you really just got to think about him.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, what do you feel will be the biggest obstacle to overcome concerning the new cards as well?
Not absolutely losing it about Rage Release, because that card is just nuts. I am not looking forward and looking forward to this card at the same time, because it's pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, it is very good. I definitely think that with the new specialty removal and the new Bandit Guard Alexander, which blocks Zachariah very, very easily, I think we're going to see Angels shift a bit. I I do believe Beowulf will be strong, but with all the specialty removal that's coming in, especially there is a card that is in the set that does hard counter him. I'll leave that to you guys to figure it out. But with that card coming in, I don't know. I've got a sneaking suspicion that it's going to, I don't know, maybe I think Impervious Gemini is going to see a lot more play. I'm thinking Impervious Bandits for right now, or Impervious Torosian.
Oh yeah, some form of Sunwalkers are going to definitely reign supreme. I feel like even just Angels turboing in out Gemini, just because of Starhand being a card, because you can get punished really hard for that.
Speaking of which, I'd say it's definitely your card of the match there, Impervious Gemini. But overall, what card do you feel helped you the most in your tournament wins?
It's definitely between Forgotten Angel Zach and Gemini. Because, in the finals match with TailSweet, I did Gemini him twice, and that really hurt him. Yeah,
that's 10 cards out of a 30-card deck for anyone who isn't aware. He actually lost a third of his deck in about 2 turns, I think it was, or close to that. It was like 3 or 4 turns within that span. It was quite nasty when I saw it.
So you can get some huge value off of Gemini if you play him correctly. So I feel like he is definitely going to take a rise. And he might be just the card to play against.
Yeah, definitely. I think from what I've experienced, especially when we have our own practice matches, I noticed that I'm a lot more mindful of Gemini, and I always have a specialty removal if he's ever, as soon as the condition is fulfilled in some way, or you got Zachariah out, I've constantly got a way, or have to find a way to out either Gemini or Beowulf is the main problems. But yeah, so I'd say, if I had to say, I'd say it was probably Beowulf overall, but in that last grand final, it was definitely Impervious.
Yeah, definitely.
From what you've seen, now there are a couple guys, so sorry for me just going on, but there are definitely 4 guys I can think of that are on their way to the top as we speak.
Honest, I'd say maybe not quite the most prevalent yet, but as my wildcard slot of sorts, I think Mistfire looks like he's going places.
Yes, he's definitely got
to have a good understanding.
Yes, my point exactly. He's actually he's one of the quickest to pick up the rules in the game, and he's he only had his first real match last weekend against Fury Card, who's arguably himself another very strong player that just his only issue is really showing up to the matches.
Yeah.
And then I'd say the other 2 would be Charging Badger and Robo, of course.
Absolutely. Robo is definitely going to be one of my bigger rivals at the moment, because we got some beef IRL a bit, so...
Yeah. Especially since the fact is, you're both competing for the top spot for the best in Australia right now. Obviously you've had, Charging Badger, I think, makes a good case of being the best in America currently, but Misfire definitely is coming up the rear, and I think he's got a good chance to really upset that. It really depends on, like I said before, on the matchups. But yeah, I think if Robo can find his own deck of some sorts, find his own, he does tend to play a very similar deck to yourself. So
yeah, he's not quite the most original player, but I think if he can find a deck that he enjoys, and that isn't an exact copy of my own list, I'm sure he'll do amazing.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got the ability. Plus, he does practice a bit, so I think he's got a good understanding of the game. He tends to have a good analytical mind. I just think it's some players are good deck builders, but not as great players, and some players are great players, but they do suffer when deck building. So, all right, and the final question for you, Mr. Potato, as the champion. For anyone who has only recently really started out in MonTac, do you have any advice for beginners just starting out? You can say
in what sense of the sorts? Like gameplay, deck building, just anything?
Yeah, top 3. Give it top 3 tips you would give for someone just starting out.
Number 1, I would probably just say make sure you think about consistency of your deck. I get it, Star Hand's a card. Consistency doesn't seem as much of a problem, but it still is. Really got to think, is this card going to do something for me? Another one is definitely with deck building, you want to play cards that synergize with each other.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just playing some, like, grab bag of every goddamn archetype you can think of, it's not going to work. You really got to think about what synergizes and what goes towards your win condition.
But yeah, that'll...
probably the third tip I'd say is understanding the game state. It's probably the hardest thing to do, but if you can understand what situation you're in and what you need to do to get yourself ahead, it helps so goddamn much. Like, honest, it really does.
Yeah, totally. I definitely agree with that. Especially when you have to think on your feet, because sometimes you'll be faced with a problem, and it was unfortunate for Shadow in his semi-final match. He had the answer to TailSweet's attack, but he was unaware of what he actually had, and he wasn't able to stop it in time.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but at the end of the day, it comes down to who had the knowledge, who was aware, and it just goes from there. So, do you have any final notes before we conclude this?
You know what, man? I gotta say, this is a hell of a card game. Like,
Appreciate it.
I saw the ad, $100. Absolutely looking forward to a good old tournament.
Yeah.
Hoping to break the meta. Couldn't do that. I'm still having a blast, and I do intend to try and remain the dominant player.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say your goals are for MonTac right now?
As of now, I definitely want to be experimenting with decks. Because as much as I'd like to say, like, oh, my deck's the best, it really, there's a good chance it isn't. There's a lot of combinations and a lot of different ways you can go around things. So,
especially with these new cards coming out, like they've really, I feel a lot of people are going to be scouting that, especially people who suffered. A lot of players bricked in their tournament matches, so I think with these changes being made, you're going to see a lot more Terosians, maybe some more Bandits. I think Kiara, the daughter of the Chief's daughter, Bandit Chief's daughter.
Yeah, Kiara definitely looks like an interesting card.
So yeah, there's a couple others that are very, very interesting, and I'm really keen to see that. So thanks, Potato, for doing this interview. I hope you will. I think you'll be a really good champ, and we'll just see how long that lasts.
Absolutely, man. I'm happy for friendlies. I'm happy to coach. Like, if anyone needs help, I'm down. It's a fun card game. It's about having fun.
Yeah.
And you know what? As long as everyone else is, I'm happy.
Awesome. All right.
I'll also play Rage Release. That card's absolutely disgusting.
Yes. Final notes from the champion. All right. Thank you. And
there we go.
we're out.